The NFL as we go, but we welcome again our new gambling partner.
Back with you on SportsCenter. Week 14 in the NFL kicks off with the Cowboys looking for their fourth straight win when they visit the Lions on Thursday night. Dallas looks done, but this run, Philly losing 2 straight, has them still alive in the NFC East. Here's Detroit's head coach Dan Campbell speaking today.
Well, for some of these guys, this is a different spot that they've been in, you know. For a guy like Hutch, he knows what this is. St. Brown knows what this is. Sewell knows what it is. Golf knows what it is. Decker knows what it is. We got plenty that have been through it. You know, you're sitting here 2 years ago and you're doing backflips, right? But now all of a sudden it's, you know, with where we're at, it feels down because, you know, we've done some pretty good things over the last 2 years. You can't worry about it. And all you can do is handle your own business, handle your own play, and then go out there and play the best game you can play, execute.
Ooh, did Dan Campbell just say, mind your business? Our senior NFL writer, Bill Barnwell, is back with us now. Bill, when you look at that Thursday night matchup in Detroit, what matchup are you looking for specifically?
I am looking right. And welcome to the NFL Today on YouTube. I'm James Brown, along with Coach Bill Cowher, Nate Burleson, and Matt Ryan. Folks, a quick snapshot look, if you will, at the NFL playoffs. Still a lot to be cleared up. But let's look at 2 teams right now that are going in the opposite direction. You got the Detroit Lions and you got the Dallas Cowboys. Coach, who has the best case going forward for making it to the postseason?
You know, I mean, obviously the better record belongs in Detroit. But if you have to talk about where they are right now, I just think the Dallas Cowboys, you look at that 3-game winning streak after they got off the bye, the defense has performed at another level. You sit there and talk about C.D. Lamb and George Pickens and Dak Prescott. I love what Brian Schottenheimer is doing with this offense and that offensive line. This is a football team that might have the best kicker in the National Football League, an X factor in itself. So this is a football team, to me, if they get in, they are playing as good a football right now, entering into the month of December as anybody. The only thing I'll say about the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, like, they're resilient, and they're down, and they're tough. There's a toughness that's up there. But, you know, Dan's now calling plays, and there's a little bit of a different feel and chemistry up there in Detroit than there's been in the past. Some of the trickeration, maybe the timing has not been right. They're still trying to find their way, where I think right now the Dallas Cowboys, they not only found their way, they're in that left lane. They're coming down there very fast. And if you don't get out of their way and move over, they're going to run you over.
Yeah. I think about this, and I think the honest answer is, the hell if I know.
Yeah, for real.
That playoff picture in the NFC right now, and the number of teams that are sitting there in the hunt, in the wild card spot, and you say Dallas, yes, they're 6-5-1, but it looks like they got to win 5 in a row to get in, to have a chance. I think their best avenue to get into the playoffs is not the wild card. I think it's Philly coming back to the pack in the NFC East. But then if you look at Detroit, I really don't know if they have a chance to win the NFC North, because you have Chicago sitting at 9-3 and they've separated themselves. Green Bay sitting at 8-3 and
swept them.
And then they have these 2 games coming up where Detroit, you know, is going to be playing Dallas next week.
Yeah.
Right? And so it
the Rams and then the Steelers.
It is a mess in the NFC right now. But I think that's the beauty of the NFL, is that December is going to be just as exciting as January, because all of these pictures that we have at this point and how it's shaking out, with Chicago sitting at the 1 seed, we've got the Rams below them and Philly there. That's going to look different week to week. And the seeding and the structure of how all of these things shake out, I don't think we have any idea what the next 4 or 5 weeks is going to look like. If you had to ask me right now, though, who do I think has a chance of getting in, I don't think Philly's coming back. I think they're going to win, at minimum, probably 2 games, 3 games, which puts them at 11 wins. And Dallas would have to win out to get there. They've got Las Vegas, Washington twice. I think they'll probably win both those games. I think Detroit, if you ask me right now, I think Detroit maybe has the better chance of finding a way to sneak into the playoffs, even though they're not playing, in my opinion, as well as the Dallas Cowboys.
I agree with you on that. Listen, my heart says Detroit. That's coming from a completely biased place. It's my former team. I agree with you, Coach. There's something rhythmically off about their offense. Last year under Ben Johnson, he had a feel, like truly the pulse of not just his players and how he utilized the offensive weapons, but also like when and where to implement the trick plays that they were working on or that they were setting up for weeks in advance. And if If they can figure out that offensively, they'll be just fine. Because defensively, they have shown in certain games to step up and rise to the occasion. Now, you mentioned the Cowboys, and they look really good. The question is, is that going to be sustainable? And how will that look in the month of December? Yeah, of course, George Pickens is turning into a 1A, 1B, 1B, 1A situation next to CeeDee Lamb. And Dak Prescott, if you aren't paying attention, is playing some of his best football in his career. But the logic tells me Cowboys, and that's because I'm looking at this big three that they have, but my heart says the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's still a lot of football left to be played, but like I said before, I mean, somebody may come back to them as well in that playoff, and maybe if they get in as a wild card and Philadelphia does not come back to them. But this is a football team right now, like I said before, they get a mini bye because they played on Thanksgiving, playing their best football. Yeah. They have a chance to look ahead, and now they're getting prepared. And this may be a playoff game against the Detroit Lions. This is what, to me, is a playoff game against the Detroit Lions. They get past that game. Their schedule is, I don't see anybody beating them after that.
Dallas Nation, gather around, because what we are walking into this Thursday night is not just another game on the NFL schedule. It is not just another chapter in an old rivalry. This is a crossroads moment for an entire franchise. This is where the Dallas Cowboys either keep their season alive or watch everything slip away. Brian Schottenheimer and this team know exactly what is at stake. And make no mistake, this showdown with the Detroit Lions has turned into one of the most emotionally charged matchups in the entire NFC. Two teams, both fighting for their playoff lives, both locked into a conference where every inch of ground is earned with blood and willpower. But only one of them is built to rise when the lights burn brightest. And that team wears the star on the helmet. Right now, the Lions sit 8th in the playoff standings and the Cowboys sit 9th. But this gap is meaningless because everything changes Thursday night. Detroit walks in with a 30% chance to make the postseason. Beat Dallas, they jump to 45. Lose, they fall to a brutal 12%. But look at Dallas. Right now, they sit at 23%. Take down Detroit in primetime, and suddenly the Cowboys' chances jump to 41. Lose, and they drop to single digits. You cannot overstate what this means. With only 4 games left after this one, there is no room for patience, no margin for error, no time to figure it out later. Later does not exist anymore. This is the moment. This is the must-win that defines a season and exposes who is built for December football. And when you look at the trajectory of both teams, it becomes even clearer. The Cowboys have found a new identity under Brian Schottenheimer, a more physical offensive approach, a more unpredictable passing game built around the chemistry that continues to grow between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, a tighter, more disciplined defense that learned from the losses, replaced the noise with urgency, and now plays like a unit that understands every snap matters. You add in the emergence of young players stepping into bigger roles, a kicker who has quietly become one of the most reliable weapons in the league, and a team that has already shown they can respond to adversity this season, and suddenly Dallas walks into Detroit not as an underdog, but as the team with the higher trajectory. And when you look back at recent history between these teams, you already feel the fire building. Dallas and Detroit have traded blows for 3 straight seasons, and every game has been chaos. In 2023, the Cowboys took that dramatic 20-19 win, and the Lions were furious over the controversial late penalties. Detroit answered in 2024 with a stunning 47-9 blowout that embarrassed Dallas on national television. That loss has stuck with this roster for almost a year. Those players have not forgotten the humiliation. They have not forgotten how they walked off that field. They have waited for this game. They have circled it. They have prepared for it. This is their chance to reclaim control of the rivalry and, more importantly, reclaim control of their season. And let me tell you something the national media is talking about today. Detroit is limping into this matchup. Amon-Ra St. Brown is battling injury and is a game-time decision. Detroit's offensive line is banged up. Their defense has been inconsistent. Their chemistry is shaky. And meanwhile, analysts across ESPN, The Athletic, and NFL Network have been pointing to the Cowboys as the team that looks more complete heading into December. They are faster. They are healthier. They are mentally sharper. They are playing with more urgency. And above all else, they are the team that understands what Thursday night really is, a playoff game in disguise. This is where Dak Prescott must take command. This is where CeeDee Lamb must punish a vulnerable secondary. This is where the Cowboys' defensive front must overwhelm an injured Detroit offensive line. This is where Brian Schottenheimer stamps his identity on this franchise, and this is where the Dallas Cowboys prove once again that when everything is on the line, they can rise higher than the moment. Everything is pointing toward a Dallas response. Everything is pointing toward a Dallas surge. Everything is pointing toward a Dallas statement on national television. Cowboys Nation, this is our time. This is the turning point. This is the moment where belief becomes reality. And when the final whistle blows on Thursday night, I believe the Dallas Cowboys will walk off that field victorious, alive in the playoff hunt, and proving to the entire league that they are not done, not backing down, and absolutely not going quietly into the night. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe the Cowboys will rise in this must-win game? Tell me your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button if you felt the energy, and subscribe to Cowboys Nation Report so you never miss a moment of this playoff push.